Christine Persichetti. We begin with breaking news. We've just learned that the Diocese of Brooklyn's Eucharistic revival is being postponed due to weather concerns. Some 7,000 people were expected to travel to Coney Island for the day of prayer and catechesis this Saturday. Don't worry, though, the celebration will be rescheduled for the spring, so be sure to stay tuned to both Currents News and The Tablet as more details emerge. Turning now to a topic that affects everyone, regardless of race, gender, or religion. We're talking about suicide. Even those who are called to serve and protect aren't protected from mental illness and the heartbreak suicide leaves behind. Currents News' Jessica Easthope joins us now to talk about one woman who feels compelled to support those who have had unimaginable losses. Hi, Jess.
Hi, Christine. As you mentioned, suicide isn't easy to talk about. As Catholics, we believe that life is sacred and suicide is never the answer. Marianne McGinnis wants everyone to know that. 21 years ago, her life changed forever, and now she works every day to help ease the pain of those affected by suicide. She says that pain never goes away. Take it from her.
Oh, here it is.
Ah, that's the one.
I said I knew it.
Jolie McGinnis is a total daddy's girl.
I should know. I've seen them how many times in this book?
She wishes the pictures in these albums would bring up loving memories of him. But she doesn't have any. Jolie was just a year old when her dad, Sergeant Peter McGinnis, died.
I keep going to look for more pictures, but kind of ran out. It's a very weird feeling to have people tell you about someone you're supposed to know. That's supposed to be my person. It's like everybody knows him better than I do.
Peter was larger than life, always with a smile on his face, had 3 beautiful children, and his wife Marianne, who adored him.
He was a great guy. Still happens 20 years later. He had a giant heart, funny. He was always making somebody laugh.
He was the last person you'd ever think would take his own life. Peter was 37 when he shot himself with his service weapon on an overpass on the Belt Parkway on September 20th, 2002. Marianne came home to the goodbye letters.
His phone is ringing downstairs. I'm calling 911. I'm in every which way, and I'm trying not to be in front of the kids. And then when I ran outside and I saw Monsignor Romano Casado, I knew it was true.
I'll never forget walking down the block in that beautiful day and walking in to that family. I'll never forget that day. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen.
Monsignor David Casado, Deputy Chief Chaplain of the NYPD, celebrated the first ever Mass for Peter and the more than 230 other active duty members of the NYPD who have died by suicide since 1989. It was organized by Marianne, who serves as the widow liaison for the Anchor Club, a Catholic organization of officers who are Knights of Columbus.
They started inviting me to things, and the kids. I got to hang out with the police officers, and my kids got to see the blue uniforms and how they stick together as a family and they support one another. That's how I kept my husband alive.
Today, Peter's legacy is carried on by his 3 children. The oldest, TJ, is a police officer.
My entire life is based around him. I've been following in his footsteps since I can remember. I'm in his precinct, his shield. I want to, be like him as much as possible. And then when it's that time, if I ever was in that situation, I know that I could fight it.
The fact that you came is awesome. Thank you. Thank you.
21 years ago when Peter died, a community for families affected by suicide didn't exist. But since, Marianne has created one. Now, her life is dedicated to ending the stigma surrounding suicide.
Marianne McGinnis has become a real consoler.
I know I'm honoring them because we love them and it's how they lived, but it's not okay how they died. Peter gave me this life, so I have to do it the best that I can.
Her children are daily reminders of the joy Peter brought to their lives and all he left behind.
I will never know what it's like to have a catch with my dad. I'll never know what it's like to get taught how to shave. Use my family as an example if you need to, but your family's the only ones that are suffering.
Tomorrow needs you. Ain't that the truth?
Marianne's hope sounds familiar to members of the NYPD. New Yorkers have heard it countless times.
If you see that something's bothering somebody, you gotta say something. Hey, are you okay?
In Peter's memory, For Marianne and her children, if you see something, say something. Though this was the first, Marianne plans to make the NYPD Suicide Mass an annual event and hold gatherings for the families during the year. Christine?
Wow, Jess, what a heartbreaking story. Has the change in attitude and stigma toward this issue shifted church teaching on suicide?
So with issues like this, of course, it's not so black and white. But what was clear was that when Monsignor Casado was giving that homily, he said very plainly that your loved ones are with God. And what he said was what the church has come around to is that the mental illness that often causes someone to take their own life is being treated now as just that, an illness like cancer or something else, which of course we know people can die from.
Right, exactly. All right, thank you, Jess. For anyone who may need help, you can call the Catholic Charities Mobile Crisis Team at 718-514-8031. You can also call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 988. It's a big day for the global church as the Synod of Bishops kicked off Wednesday. Pope Francis celebrated the opening Mass in St. Peter's Square. The month-long meeting is focused on how to transform the church, making it more collaborative. For more on what the bishops will discuss, let's bring in our Vatican expert, editor of Crux, John Allen. Hi, John.
Hey, Christine.
So, John, we want our viewers to get a 1-minute overview about this meeting. So let's do some rapid-fire questions. Tell us, what are the 3 main issues?
Well, 48 hours ago, I would have said the blessing of same-sex unions, women clergy, and married priests. Now, in light of recent events, i.e. the Pope's responses to critical questions from 5 cardinals, I would say the same-sex unions and the women clergy questions are off the table. I would say married priests is still alive. Beyond that, we've got consultation and structures.
All right, and of course there's a lot more surrounding the month-long meeting. Today the Pope released another apostolic exhortation on the environment. What's his message to world leaders?
Basically boils down to take action and do it now. That is, limit greenhouse gas emissions, promote alternative sources of energy. If you don't, future generations are going to hold you accountable.
All right, John Allen, editor of Crux, thanks for joining us. We'll be checking in.
You bet.
Be sure to stay with the Tablet and Currents News for continuing coverage of this Synod meeting all month long. That is this Currents News update. I'm Christine Persichetti. Thank you for joining us because we are putting your faith in the news. Hope to see you again next time.